Sunny day out, so we're going inside. Welcome to the Tank Museum, the Tank Story Hall. So, duplex drive Sherman. They were designed to float on their way to the beaches in Normandy during D-Day, and most of them sank, but they had moderate success. So you can see where that sort of water level is there, that's where it came up to, and that's the last one in the world that still has its original canvas cover. So, one of the prides of their collection, and completely unique, this is the world's oldest tank. So, built in 1915, Little Willie, the British Army were after a vehicle to traverse the trenches, and they came up with this. Halfway through its development, they did another prototype that had better success. So, this was actually defunct by the time it was built. But when it got built, everybody said, it looks like a water tank, and that's where the word tank comes from. So another very, very special one, and completely unique. This one was designed as a training tank. It was never designed to see active combat, but they were so short of tanks on the front line, it got pressed into service. And because of that, this is the oldest tank in the world that has seen active combat. And what's really cool about it is they got the side open. So, mine staff. So you have to see inside it. Renault F-17. Now, this one here, French World War One, saw pretty good success. There's quite a lot of these still exist, but the one here is fairly special because it was actually one of the prototypes, which is why on the front it says here non protege, which means no armor. So yeah, one of the original prototypes, very rare little tank. So I can't do every single tank because we're going to be missing huge chunks. But yeah, good collection. So what's really cool about this museum is it's actually the museum of the Royal Armoured Corps. So technically, it's part of the army. Now, because of that, the majority of tanks in here have been captured by the British or used by the British, that kind of thing. So this Panzer II here, for example, was captured by the British in North Africa, tested by the British Army, and then ended up in a museum. The little child, or big child B1 here, was it's an interesting story. It was a French tank captured by the Germans in Jersey when they invaded Jersey. At the end of the war, British forces liberated Jersey and got this tank back, and that ended up in a museum. So yeah, they've all got an interesting story. So this one here is one of their absolute stars of their collection. Tiger tank. There's only a handful of them left remaining. This one was restored a few years ago to running order, so it's the only running Tiger tank in the world. And twice a year, usually April and September, there's a special day where this one runs around the arena. Yeah, Tiger 131. It was in the film Fury. It was the one that was fighting against the Sherman. Yeah, really, really cool. So not a particularly unique tank. There's quite a lot of Churchills still surviving. But this one here is a Churchill crocodile. And what that is on the front here, just there, there's a flamethrower. So this was used on D-Day, shot flames into the German trenches and bunkers. There's the fuel canister on the back of it. But what makes this particularly unique, out of all the Churchills left surviving, is, I don't know if we can get a decent photo of it, that little brass plaque up there. So this is the last Churchill ever built. A quick glimpse of the start of the trench experience.
No, I said to
So, coming around the corner here, this is the world's last surviving Mark One tank. Now, one thing the museum's really famous for is having the world's biggest collection of World War One tanks, which I will show you right now as we come around this corner. There's quite a few of them. You can actually get inside as well. The World War II Hall. Now, this place is surrounded by walls and stuff. It is absolutely huge. So I'm going to try and do a couple of quick highlights. So this is the start of the World War II selection. And this little one here, not many survivors of it, was a little Italian flamethrower. So going back to D-Day, there were various funny vehicles used. This is another one, which is a Valentine bridge layer. Over here we got the Churchill Avery, which was a mortar firer designed to get rid of bunkers and emplacements. And what's really cool is this here was used as a chicken shed for years and years. It's a section of one of the original gliders that dropped vehicles on D-Day. So one of the biggest tanks in their collection, this is a Tiger II. They've actually got a pair of these. The other one's in for restoration at the moment in a £1 million project. And going from one of the biggest in their collection to one of the smallest, a little Goliath demolition tank. So yeah, so another one of the D-Day survivors. This was a Sherman Crab that flailed around really, really fast and got rid of mines on the beaches in Normandy. Nearly at the end, the mighty Jagdtiger. Well, they've obviously had a shift around since the last time I was here, because normally Fury is buried in that corner. I guess they got it in for repairs in time for Tankfest. But this one here is a replica Mark IV, built for the film Warhorse. And this one runs absolutely fine during most of the big events, Tankfest. This one was seen running around the arena. So coming up towards the end now, this is one of the absolute stars of the collection and fairly overlooked. So this one here is the world's oldest Sherman tank. It's one called Michael, second off the production line. So the Sherman was an American tank designed to a British specification because the British wanted a tank that the Americans could produce, and this was the second one they ever sent. So the last place on the tour, we're coming well away from the museum, now over to the Vehicle Conservation Centre. Do a quick video from the top of it. So on display inside the museum, they've got a couple of hundred tanks. And the Conservation Centre is all of the tanks they haven't got space for, including, you can see it, there's this one here, which is a replica of a World War I German tank that runs during displays. And yeah, enough to fill probably another couple of museums. Yeah, really amazing museum. So yeah, that's the tank museum. Now the last thing before we have the journey home is this is a little area that I always find quite cool just to go and have a look at. And I got no idea what the story is behind a lot of these. These are basically junk ones that they've pulled off of firing ranges and stuff that I'm sure they'll have some plan for in the future. So yeah, there's a Sherman M4A4. What else have we got? I mean, this one here is just absolutely blown to bits. That one, I guess they pulled it in for some sort of restoration at some point. A22D Churchill-based gun carrier. I just find these really cool to look at. Centaur. There's another bridge layer there of some kind. I mean, they're going to be really historic vehicles, but they will have pulled these directly off of firing ranges. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, hope you enjoyed that. That was the Tank Museum.